Hey everybody, Omar here. I got another paddle match video for you today. It's been a while since my last one. I actually in the summertime got injured. I tore a calf muscle. Took me a couple of months of recovery, but I'm back and started playing about a month ago. And now started recording my matches again. So this match is our first in a competitive league at Rookie and Ace. I've never played in a league before, and so just, a couple of guys, or me and Sunny, who's my partner, we really enjoy playing and want to play with more competitive people, and we decided to join the league, which is really exciting. So this is our very first match of the league. We're playing against Mitch and Paul. Mitch is another person that I played with and against regularly, but Paul is actually my first time playing with him. So in this video, I really want to just actually kind of coach myself, look at and coach, I'm not going to coach Sunny because he's way better than me, but more coach myself, see how I can improve and hopefully do better next time as the league progresses. So spoiler alert, we do lose this game, but it's really close, and that's why I just really want to understand how we lost, what we could do better. Was it that they were better than us? Well, obviously, but in what ways can we improve? While we were playing with the match, it felt really difficult to play. It felt like Paul was just returning everything, and it was really hard to get things past him, and Mitch was playing really great. But when I watch the video, I've watched it a couple of times now, our match, and it's a lot closer than it felt, which is really interesting. And I think that playing in, kind of a more official, competitive environment really brings the mental side of the game, makes it a lot more important. That's something that I hadn't really worried about because, just usually playing with friends, and, while you do want to win, it's not that big of a deal. There's always more games and that kind of thing. But when you're playing in kind of a more official setting, I think the nerves are just a lot higher, and it has a really big impact on the way you play. If you just don't have a good mindset, if you're really nervous and intense, that can really just impact or just be the difference between a ball going in or out, or making a good call or not. So that's something I really want to develop. I think I'll get better as I play. I hope I get better as I play more of these kind of official leagues. But we'll see. Okay, so let's just kind of forgetting about the mindset for now, because that's something I just gotta work on, on my own. It's just as we see the game progress and the points, what are just some mistakes that I made, unforced errors that could have been avoided, and better tactics that I can employ for the next time. So one thing that I really noticed is my positioning. I always felt that I actually have been, that's one of my strengths at this level compared to the other, I would say, intermediate players, is because I watch a lot of paddle videos and tactics and stuff. I try to think about positioning, when to come to the net, when to be at the back, kind of, left and right, and playing the angles and stuff. And I always thought I was really strong with that, but watching the video, I noticed that I have a really bad weakness, which is I am too far into the center oftentimes. So that makes a lot of sense, and you're supposed to be in the center so right now I'm playing on the left side, and if the ball is being played on the right, you want to cover the center because it's a harder angle to pass you on the left. But when the ball is on the left side, so Mitch is on the left, I'm still I'm biasing towards the center, and I think that leaves a lot of open room to my left. They don't exploit it too much, but there are some key points where they will hit it to my left, and at least in this first set, and I can mostly get it, but they're not good shots, and then it sets them up for their, the ability to then kind of kill the point in the next exchange or two. So that's something I'm going to try to really be more mindful of in terms of just my positioning, and leave some more space in in the middle, or at least I'll be more on the left, and then work with Sonny for him to also come over to left so that we can make sure that the middle is more covered. I think the other thing that was really interesting that I noticed in this level of competition, we're definitely not beginners, we're not advanced or anything like that, is we're at this uncanny valley of shot selection where the kind of just basic shots are no longer enough to win a point. Like for beginners, if you play the rally long enough, 4 or 5 exchanges, the beginner person is going to make some kind of mistake. But at this level, you can't rely on that anymore. And so you have to try the harder shots. You have to actually try to win the point, not just let the other team, not just kind of wait for the other team to make a mistake. The problem, though, at this level is that we're not great at winning with those winning shots. We don't have the necessarily ability to consistently, hit the right smash or do the drop shot or do the angle. And so it's really much a difficult risk and reward calculation, because if you do the easy shot, you're not going to win the point, and maybe you'll set the other team up for giving you a tough, return. But if you go for the more difficult shot, then you obviously have a much more increased chance of messing up. And so it's really difficult to know, okay, do I do the easy shot or do the hard shot? And if you go for the hard shot and you screw up a few times, then it can be really discouraging. And then you kind of go for the, you'll pull back a bit and start doing the easy shots. All right, there was a pop out. I'm really happy with that one. But, you pull back, you start doing easy shots, but then they start taking advantage of that. And that gets frustrating, and then you start kind of trying to do the winning shots again, but then, and it can be pretty tough. So I'm not exactly sure how to get out of that, and it's okay, just be super consistent with easy shots and really work on defense if that's a better strategy, or, obviously as you play and improve, you're just going to get more consistent with those winning shots, and that's how you're just going to get better, and you just kind of have to work through it. So we'll see how that'll be something as I think as all of us, as we're playing Battle and playing more, as ways to improve. So it's good that there's that very clear way to improve, and I just gotta be patient with myself and my own journey in getting better. I think that's also where coaching, I actually have done one coaching session, but where working with an official coach can really help, because they can kind of accelerate you through and do the drills and that kind of thing past the awkward phases of combat. Sorry, I just want to pause for a second in this general commentary to talk about that specific point. So thus far, we kind of all had 1 hour serves, and it was 2-2. This was a really key point, really key match. It was golden point, and I think we just tried to win it on that golden point, and then we lost that point, and this is kind of where this set starts going downhill. And I think this is where the mental part of the game becomes really important. We're now down. We had our serve, or we could have broken the serve, but we didn't, or I forget what exactly happened. And so now we're trying harder. We're we want more winners. We want to kind of win back the game, but it ends up causing us to make more mistakes. We're now biasing towards going for the winners, but we're just making more mistakes, which is frustrating, which then kind of spirals and makes it harder to play well and that kind of thing. So another thing I want to focus on, or talk about in the game, and that I noticed, is I'm actually way better with my backhand than my forehand. And I think that means I should be more on the right side than the left side. And you'll see kind of compare. So in the second set, me and Sonny do switch. I go onto the right and he goes onto the left. Because there's two things that I noticed. One is that my backhand is much better than my forehand. And secondly, my overhead is really bad. I mean, you've probably seen it. I try to do the long preparation, but I don't have my elbow up, and I just am not able to get good overheads. Okay, there. So I just do it softly. I don't try to win it. I just do kind of really Mickey Mouse type overheads, and that is essentially gives them the opportunity to win the point. It doesn't put them in danger in any way, and they're able to do easy returns and set themselves up and stuff. And the overheads are the opportunity to not necessarily win the point, but move that rally into your favor, or sometimes win the point if you've got a strong overhead. So there you see they've taken the set. We really collapsed after that game where we lost that golden point, and so now this is the second set. And so look here. So you see Sonny, great overhead, wins the point. Really, really nice and easy finish. There's a nice overhand. So this is one thing where my overhand is my backhand is pretty good, and particularly my backhand volley, or kind of backhand smash, let's say. Not a big smash, but the backhand volley. So here's another backhand. It's consistent, it's strong, it kind of puts them in danger. I can play it hard, I can play it soft. So that you saw, I was kind of playing it harder, and then I did soft with a nice angle into the fence, and then, was able to win the point. And I think that's something, if I can continue developing that backhand, where those can be real winners, and might be able to really make those those backhand shots really, really dangerous. I ended up losing a few points with those kinds of shots where Mitch would hit it to my feet, and I would try to do that volley or half volley, and I think it was 5 points I lost that way. It happened 5 times. And I was able to get one of them. I don't exactly know what I should do there. Obviously, he's taking advantage of kind of bad positioning. I should be either closer to the net or behind the line defense, and so I don't, he can't hit it directly to my feet, or if I'm closer to the back wall and he hits it to my feet, I can let it just go past my feet and get it off the wall. But where I am, I wouldn't say it's in no man's land. So here's the one where I actually am able to return it. It's not a great return, but it does kind of set us up nicely for this point. So you can see, again, I can do these backhands, put it around the line, and end up winning the point in that way. And then there's my horrible forehand volley into the net. And that's, again, a bad overhead. You can see, obviously just form. I don't have my elbow up. It's something that I just really need to practice and get at least one coaching session to work on my form, and just using the wrist too much. There's a great overhead from Sonny that wins the point. So here, this is a long way. And, one thing that Paul was really good about is playing the angles, particularly into the fence. So it just felt like he was returning a lot and returning kind of the tougher shots. And boom, there, another easy fence. We got lucky there with a good bounce, and so he was able to return. Some backhands. So I can do, I'm really proud of this point. I do a backhand lob that goes over, and do right into the backhand drop shot to win the point. That was really nice. And here's another backhand lob. Another backhand. Tried to do the drop shot, didn't go too great. But fortunately, it was still a tough shot for Mitch to return, and sets him up for the nice overhead smash. So we're definitely starting this set a lot better, the left and right here, I think, fits our styles better. I'm really able to use my stronger backhand. I have better form with my backhand than my forehand. Still not great form, but I can put spin on it. I have control and that kind of thing. I think, yeah, Sunny obviously has the much better overhead than me, and also has a really good forehand and can place it, and has pace, drop shots, angle, all that kind of thing. So I think we're just playing much better to our strengths with me on the right and Sunny on the left. Yeah, here's another. So my overhead, just trying not to lose the point. Just trying not to mess it up. Trying not to put us into too bad of a position. But really, whenever I get the overhead, I just now trying to play it safe. So that was a really long rally, and we ended up taking the point and taking the game, which and I think that was a break point. So now we're ahead in the set. All it takes is one break point to win the set. So you just gotta stay consistent and play. That doesn't happen here, but let's see kind of where it messes up. Yeah, and Sunny has a really strong serve, which is really nice. So, I think we're up 40 love, but then we want to win the point, and then just go to the and that happens. And so here's a situation, a nice backhand volley, really difficult for Paul to return, and he hits it into the fence. There, I hit a forehand, goes far, hits the back glass. So we start the set really strong. It's 3-1 for us, feeling really good. And yeah, it's curious to see how we get there. This is a situation where I tried to, the rally was going for a while. I tried to win the point by going past Paul, but just screwed it up. I had my racket face open and hit it into the fence. Just really frustrating. Here's another long rally, and it just felt like the rallies were going quite a while, and that was something that, again, I'm not very used to. Usually with the people that I play with, the rallies are shorter, or every once in a while you have a longer rally, but we had quite a few long rallies here, and again, as the rally wears on, you just get kind of more tired, you get more frustrated, you're impatient and stuff, and I think that's something where they really won out, is that they were just a lot more patient, better conditioning, willing to let the point and rally continue on, versus we were more eager to try to finish it, and therefore oftentimes made a mistake because we're not in a good state. You try to finish it after 30-40 seconds of back and forth. You're tired, you're not in a good mental state, you're way more likely to make mistakes when you're trying to the riskier shot. I mean, Sunny just kind of miscommunicated. Really great shot down the middle by Paul. And I think I really like the down the middle shots. They're great for that risk and reward, because they're really not that risky. It's highly likely you're gonna hit it out. You're obviously not going to hit it out to the sides when you go down the middle. It's more just the length, but you have a lot of space going down. But you can often win those points, or way more than they should be winning, just because of miscommunication, and are just difficult for the other team to know who's gonna take it, particularly if they haven't been playing with each other for a long time, which is the case. It's just not clear who should take those shots down the middle. And even if they get it, that half a second or 200 milliseconds of hesitation means that the return isn't going to be as great, and then you can kind of set up. So I really should try to use that down the middle a lot more than I did. There's another situation where, wasn't that strong of a shot, but it was kind of down the middle, had some spin on it, very safe, and we got the point. So you really don't need to do the really hard shots, risky shots. These are riskier shots. They're not great, They would be great if they were lower. They would be a lot harder to return, but the ones that I was hitting towards the fence there, and Mitch was able to get each one of those. You know, he's got great conditioning, can move really quickly, so those drop shots are not as effective with him. They could be if I was hitting them better. So here's a great point. Sonny developed it, and you know, Paul did his best, but he had some great shots that were just too difficult to defend. So we're at, you know, we're up now in the set again, 4-3. I think that hit the ceiling. That's one of the low ceiling of this facility, which makes logs and the back boosts difficult. Mitch goes for the winner, or overhead and get the point, which is great. Yeah, this is that was like a fake smash, and that was something that Paul was really effective. Is that he actually played most of his shots soft, but every once in a while he would hit them hard, so it would just keep me guessing. Like I'm like, okay, he can hit it hard, so I can't just assume he's gonna hit it soft, and it is really difficult for me to know the right positioning. I'm not fast enough to like say think he's going to hit it soft and he hits it hard and move to the right position, or I think he's going to hit it hard but he hits it soft and then kind of move back. So I kind of have to try to predict it, but it was difficult for him. It was difficult for me to predict what he was going to do, and that was a really effective strategy for him, because most of the shots he was hitting softly, but there were some effective ones that he would hit hard that just made it that I couldn't always assume that he was going to hit it, that he was going to hit it soft. So yeah, now the set's tied 4-4. They're up now 5-4. Somehow we are losing. I think this is now where the mental part comes into play. I felt like we should have been winning the set, and I'm frustrated. And I think they also start hitting it towards me. I think maybe they noticed that I was not playing as strong. So there, see, I mess up. I'm just not doing a good job. I'm nervous, not hitting winners, and I think they really start taking advantage of that. Yeah, see, there's another mistake, and then my unforced error rate just skyrockets here. My backhands are okay. That was an okay shot. I think Sonny now, because I'm not playing as well, so Sonny feels like I step up and do these like riskier shots, and again is going to make more mistakes. And that's it. They win the match on final unforced error on my part. Did not feel great, but I mean, it was a great match. They did really great. And on to the next one. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the video.